Hey YouTube family, welcome to another episode of you and me checking out gear in my basement. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm hungry. So before we start this, I'm going to break out the lunchbox and we're going to see what kind of snacks are in there. So bear with me here. Oh, here's the lunchbox. And well, it looks like we have some ambience, some tone, some volume, and some gain. Looks like we have a 6-inch speaker, a speaker out. Looks like we have headphone out with a volume adjustment for the phones. Looks like we have a speaker on-off switch. Looks like we have, and then, instead of peanut butter and jam, looks like we have 200 watts. What? So, yeah, you guessed it. This is a lunchbox amplifier. It's the LBG2, made by ZT Amplifiers Inc. in Berkeley, California. These little suckers are about $600 US. So you're probably looking at close to $800 to $1,000 for one of these here in Canada. Not cheap. But I gotta tell you, for a small little amp, it's got some weight to it. It's surprisingly heavy. Anyway, this is not my amp. This is like a sponsored video. Well, as sponsored as I'm gonna guess on this title, I'll tell you. So a friend of mine, Barry, so the guy whose IYV jazz guitar that I reviewed, this guy's got a bunch of gear. Like he just, he buys all the gear that I, wish I had. I had looked at these a while back, but I couldn't bring myself to pull the trigger. And he was telling me, he says, look, I got this amp at home. Maybe when you're done reviewing the guitar, if you wouldn't mind just maybe testing out this amp, let me know what you think of it. And when he told me it was it was one of the ZT amps, the lunchbox amps, I was like, absolutely, I'll check that out for you. So now that we're all full from the snacks and the lunchbox, let's just plug this sucker in and see what it can do, because I'm curious. All right, here, I'll be right back. All right, so I got the amp just on my desk, and look at this. Just to give you a reference, so you guys know how small my Fender Rumble 15 is. Well, just to give you a reference, look how small this little thing is. That Fender Rumble 15 is a 15-watt amp. This thing is a 200-watt amp. There's no way that that's a true 200 watts. I don't know. Anyway. So I'm going to position my phone so you can see the amp, because you don't have to see me. So I'm just running my ERT guitar straight into the amp. Nothing, no effects, no nothing. I just want to see what the amp can do. So I'm not sure you're going to be able to see the knobs, but I want to position the phone in such a way that the mic will pick up the amp's tones, because if you watch my videos, I don't use any recording software other than what's on the phone. So all right, let's go. So I just got everything set at 12 o'clock, and if this is 200 watts, man, this should blow. Half volume, half gain, man. We should be technically at 100 watts, I guess, because we're halfway, right? But anyway, I don't know what this ambience knob does. I don't know if it's just like a presence thing. And the tone is self-explanatory, I guess, and volume and gain. So let's try this everything at 12 o'clock. Oh, right off the bat, I don't know if you can hear that, but right off the bat, there's quite a bit of hiss coming from the speaker. Let me just try this speaker on-off switch in the back. All right, so there's no hiss when the speaker is off, but there's a hiss when the speaker's on. All right, well, this is what it sounds like, full volume, full tone with a telly, everything at 12 o'clock. Very bright, very punchy, not a whole lot of bottom end at all, and kind of a little bit boxy sounding. But what do you expect? It's a 6-inch speaker in a little metal box. Like, nice, crisp, punchy sound. Maybe with a guitar with humbuckers, it might, sound a little better. But when I test an amp, I like to use a guitar I'm familiar with because I know what it sounds like with my stuff. So anyway, it just gives me like a reference point. Because if you're using all new stuff, you don't really know, what it is that sounds good. Is it the guitar, the amp, the pickups? So at least I know what the Earth sounds like, with my gear, with my quilter stuff. So anyway, we're gonna see what it sounds like with this. All right, so let's dial the gain down. Okay, so when I dial the gain down, it doesn't get rid of the hiss. So the hiss is a volume thing. You guys hear that? So if I crank the volume, if I lower the volume, the hiss is gone. Anyway, let's see. Okay, so the gain is at 9 o'clock on the dial, and the volume is full, and this is as much volume as we have. So not very much. So I guess so let's try cranking the gain and just bringing the volume at 3. Oh, then we got a little bit more volume. Okay, so definitely, so I guess the gain controls the power of the amp. The volume just kind of accentuates the gain, but you can't get this to break up. Like the gain is full, the volume is like at 9 o'clock, and there's like borderline breakup, but not like, overdrive. All right, so let's see. Let's try. I find that really, really bright. So let me just keep everything like it is right now, and I'm gonna drop the presence knob or this ambience knob and see if it gets bassier. Oh yeah, that kind of warmed it up a bit. Let's crank the ambience knob, see what that gives us. Oh, that sounds kind of echoey. I think it's supposed to simulate like being in a big room maybe or something, I don't know. It's not a reverb, but I like the ambience knob off. See how clean this amp gets. So I'm going to crank the volume and bring the gain up. Very clean amp. Let me leave it there, and then I'm going to try the tone all the way down. very muffled that way. Let's try the tone all the way up. Oh man, that really accentuates the hiss. Wow, that's bright. All right, so I think I'm gonna like the tone around 9 o'clock. No, too dark. Wow, that's a nice sound. So I got the tone about 10. Right now I got the volume all the way up. I got the gain at about 12. Ambience knob totally off. Let's try the ambience knob up again. Nope, I don't like the ambience knob at all. I like it off. It's real punchy. All right, now that I got those new settings, I want to crank the gain again, and I want to bring that volume up. See what I get. Turn a little bit the tone up. Wow, you know what? That sounds pretty good for a lunchbox. Not what you would call a warm, like it's not a warm sound, but it's very punchy and articulate. It's pretty good. Anyway, I'm kind of impressed. Kind of responds like a tube amp, like it's very it's kind of compressed and very quick, like it's I don't know, it's just got that punch to it, like it's instant. Like there's no sag to it at all. Some people wouldn't like that, but I kind of like that. Wow, holy smokes, that's actually pretty cool. All right, let's I'm gonna shut this off. It's a cool amp. Just a little bit noisy for my taste, but I think, you know, what do you want? You got all this circuitry jammed into a little lunchbox size amplifier. It's definitely not 200 watts, like 200 gigable watts. Like it's not comparable to a 200 watt head or whatever. So I don't know why they say it's 200 watts, but maybe you can, it has speaker out, so maybe you can plug it into, like, I don't know, like a big 200 watt cab and it'll blow the roof off the place. I have no idea. I don't have a 200 watt cab, but I am going to plug it in to my Implicit Audio 110 cab, which is which has a 25 watt a Jensen P10R speaker, and I use it with my Quilter Super Block. So I want to see what this amp sounds like in that cabinet. So bear with me and we'll set that up. All right, so I got the ZT amp plugged into my Implicit Audio cab with the 110 speaker, and I shut the speaker off on the ZT amp because there's a speaker on-off switch. If you leave it on, the speaker's on as well as the extension cab, but I just want to hear it through the cab. And I didn't touch the volume settings. Everything's the same. The camera is a little further away because now, because of the size of the cab, I had to kind of move everything back so that it would be in the shot. So maybe, I don't know what that'll do to the audio, but all right. So again, here's what it sounds like with the last setting that we had just on the ZT amp. Holy crap. That is loud. All right, I gotta turn that down. All right, so obviously, maybe it is 200 watts, but not through this thing. But once you connect a bigger speaker, it gets loud. Let me turn that down a bit. So my volume was at like 10 o'clock, and now I just turned it down to about 8 o'clock, and it's still plenty loud. And there's some overdrive now. You can really hear the breakup. You'd have no problem gigging with that. Like, there's no line out in the back though. You'd have to mic it. Or you could use the headphones out, but it's only a 1/8 inch jack, so you'd need to convert that and run it to the soundboard. And I don't know how that would sound, but anyway. Middle position. It's quite a bit of drive there. And in the neck position. Volume down, it cleans right up. Turn the volume up. Try the clean sound with the cab. So I'm just going to crank the gain all the way down, crank the volume all the way up, bring the gain up to, I don't know, maybe it's about 10 o'clock, and see what we have for cleans. Wow, holy, that's clean. Don't know what happened there. My phone stopped recording. But anyway, you get the gist of it. So definitely, if I had that amp, I would definitely use it as a head and not necessarily, run that 6-inch speaker. I don't particularly like the tone of it, but through a cab, it sounds great. Now, the way I had my phone positioned so that you guys could hear this cab, or see it, I guess, in the video, see the two cabinets, puts my phone mic a little further from the speaker than what I'd like, because I've noticed that if I don't have my phone mic close to the speaker, you guys lose all the low end. So you're probably going to be thinking, that still sounds pretty harsh. It probably does in the recording, but it doesn't in the room. It's actually pretty nice. And this is just a 10-inch speaker in this cab. But anyway, so there's just one more little test I want to do, and I want to see if this thing handles pedals well. So I'm just going to set up my little pedal board and just run through some sounds right quick, and that'll be it. Okay, so we're back. So I got my pedal board. You guys have seen this lots of times before. Everything's off. I'm still running my Implicit Audio cab. Speaker on the ZT is shut off, and I didn't touch the settings from the last time. And here we go. Oh, that adds a lot more buzz to the chain. Wow. Now, I know you guys are probably not hearing the low end, but there's quite a bit of it. It's pretty impressive, actually. I like the tone. So I'm just going to add like some drive, some delay, like a compressor. We'll just do it as we go and see what that sounds like. But there's quite a bit of buzz when you start connecting pedals. Hear that? And there's nothing on yet. Whoa. Oh. Let me turn the gain down. Yeah, the gain's probably the culprit here. And I'll turn the volume up. There. All right. Okay, so we are totally clean right now. So I guess when you push the gain on this, you're going to get noise when you connect these pedals. I don't know, I guess. Okay, compressor. Oh. See, again, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but... I kind of like the amp without the compressor on. It's got enough compression. You don't really need a compressor with this amp. When I put the compressor on, it kind of squishes the amp too much. That's interesting. Not bad. All right, so let's. I'm not going to bother with the EQ pad. Well, I'm just curious. Definitely works. Let's try the Clarksdale. No problem there, except for the noise. Let's try the Tumnus, heavy gain. Not bad. I feel it doesn't handle high gain as well as it does just regular overdrive. That could just be me and the guitar I'm using too. Like, it's hard to say, but and some delay. Oops. Yeah, I like the overdrive. The heavy gain, not so much. How about stack? Oh. but the noise is ridiculous. And some booster. Yep. Well, definitely pedals work with it, no problem there. Is it great with pedals? Not great because of the noise issue. I use that little quilter amp and I don't get any noise, like none, when I use like the pedals. So it's probably it probably has to do with, you know, all the electronics compacted into a small little area. There's got to be, you know, some noise. I don't know. So I don't know if you guys can hear the noise right now, but I'm just gonna unplug this, which goes to the amp, disconnect the pedal board, and go straight into my telly. And look, the noise is gone. So adding the pedals really accentuates the noise of the amp. And maybe it's because my pedal board is in front of the speaker, but I don't really think that that would make that big of a difference. But with guitar straight in, no issues at all. So there you have it, people. Really cool amplifier by ZT Amps. Thanks again, Barry, for letting me use it. And let me share it with my YouTube family up here. It's great. They're cool. They're really a cool amp. You could probably definitely gig with it. It's got a ton of volume when you're running an extension cab. It's impressive. And I'm going to guess, I'm not going to test it, but I'm going to guess that the headphone jack sounds, you know, probably really good too, as most of those small amps do. So yeah, that's the ZT amplifier, and it's got, you know, the ambience, tone, gain, and volume, or volume and gain, I guess. No reverb, very plain Jane, built like a tank, and but doesn't weigh like one. It's super light, but it's got some good heft to it. Like for the size of it, it's surprised. I'm very surprised. You need to pack a lot of snacks in your lunchbox to get that weight. But cool amp. It's a really cool amp. So anyway, if you guys were thinking about getting one, I have really, you know, other than the noise issue, which may or may not be amp related, like it might be my gear or it might be, you know, something else, but I don't really have that issue with my personal gear here at the house. So I don't think it's a wiring issue like in my plugs. I think it might just be the fact that the amp is small and has a ton of power in a small space, and, you know, anything you run through it maybe accentuates that noise. But definitely nothing that you can't work with, for sure. Probably a noise gate pedal would fix all that. But for home practice, you know, that 6-inch speaker is plenty loud and you wouldn't have any real problems with noise. A little bit of a hiss, but that's, you know, whatever. That's amplified sound for you. So you guys, God bless. Take care, and leave a comment if you have one of these, or, you know, how you use yours, or it'd be interesting to know, to share with everybody else on the comment section. So once again, thank you, Barry. Take care, guys, and I appreciate you all. Have a good one. Bye-bye.